my goodness.
That's right.
Well, everyone, welcome back. It's our first meeting since November, except for our little December 11th get-together. And I want to welcome all of you and hope you had a good and rewarding holiday season. And I want to welcome Lydia Yucky, there we go. Sorry, there's been another letter in there.
Yeah.
Who's subbing for Brian today. And going to get oriented to the way we do things around here, which should be a pretty,
Do you think it'll scare
pretty
her off?
brutal thing for you. Yes. And
that's a long
Laura is
time.
here as our new liaison with the Town Board of Trustees.
Right.
Congratulations on your getting elected, Laura, last November. And so, did we all get introduced well enough? You want to go around and get us one more time?
Sure, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Keep trying to remember.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no test. Yeah, Mary.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lydia.
Getting there.
Lydia and Karen are town staff. And
Yes. Lydia, Karen.
Yeah, I'm Katie Olson.
Karen W.
Karen
We
W.
go Karen S, Karen W.
and then Larry.
And Wally.
Okay.
Who
And
else?
And Jill's on the phone.
And Jill's on the phone.
Jill,
yeah.
nice to meet you. Hope you feel better
Yeah,
soon.
and Laura, we've actually met a couple times through the Folsoms and the Nobles.
Oh, Jill, sorry, what's your last name, Jill?
Robert.
Last name is Roberts. You'll have the name of
Yes,
the
yes,
face
yes,
if you
of
need
course,
to get
of
it
course.
first.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So that means 7, we've got a good quorum.
We do. So, and as always, we have a full agenda and lousy weather, so we'll try to move out smartly here. So,
No, I've got one.
Yep.
What am I
Yep.
looking?
I was just
Yes.
gonna pass
Used
that
to
out when we
seeing
got
it
to the
before.
workplace, but.
while you're listening to the minutes and so forth, I handed out, I put on the table these two posters from NIWAC about the upcoming program by some guy from Superior about the program that I'll be doing over at
One of those-
NIWAC next month.
That train guy.
That train guy. And also, in getting ready for our move, I found this buried in the basement someplace, so I'll pass it around too, just a reminder that we got an award from Historic Boulder, Inc. back in '06 for the return, which is the return of the mine camp house from its Broomfield location to here, and then the restoration. So I'm gonna take that down to the museum basement, and I got thinking that we have a few others of those, and maybe one thing we could do would be to frame all of them and put them on our wall downstairs. Been trying to figure out something to do with our bare wall. That might be one thing.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So with all that in mind, Karen W. will do the minutes of our last meeting.
Okay, meeting minutes, November 16th. The meeting was called to order by Chairperson Larry Dorsey. In attendance were commission members Mary Cartwright, Larry Dorsey, Lindsay Flewelling, Bob Morgan, Katie Olson, Errol Waligorski, and Karen Waligorski. Staff, Karen Snortland, and others, Joe Sorelli and Daryl McCool. The minutes of the October 19th meeting were read. Errol Waligorski moved they be approved. Bob Morgan seconded the motion, and the motion carried. Larry passed around a copy of Gladys Forshey's book, which she was selling at the Cookies with Veterans ceremony on November 11th. He reported that there were approximately 22 people present at the ceremony held in a large tent in Estes Park. The treasurer's reports were given as follows. Bob Morgan reported that the historic donations account currently has a balance of $770.50. Joe Sorelli reminded members that we need to develop a plan going forward on how we want to spend money in this account. Karen Snortland reported that there is $4,322.99 remaining in the 2018 historic preservation account. Debriefings were discussed as follows. There was not a large turnout at the museum opening on November 3rd. We had 2 visits from Danny Kuffner and a couple people from Rock Creek. All who attended the volunteer dinner on November 1st agreed it was very good. Larry attended the Boulder Heritage Roundtable meeting on November 15th. He reported that there will be a Carnegie Library open house on November 17th from 10 to 3. Larry reported on the cemetery tour with the Boulder DAR chapter on November 10th. They are putting together a book on Boulder County cemeteries. There were 10 to 12 people present who toured the cemetery and took pictures. Larry reported that the cemetery needed some maintenance again, probably due to high winds. The cataloging, filing, and donation screening committee did not meet this past month. There was no report on the oral history video QR project. Karen Waligorski reported that thank you notes have been sent to people who donated in memory of Denzel Ackland. Karen Snortland reported that the cemetery consultants are working on a conceptual plan. Katie reported on the historic photos planning for the sports stable. She still needs feedback from members on the flyer, which she emailed to all of us. Members did give her some suggestions at the meeting. Karen W. reported that the annual Christmas potluck is scheduled for December 9th, 1:00 p.m. at Larry and Cheryl Dorsey's home. Everyone is asked to let her know if they are attending and what they will be bringing to avoid duplicates. Karen S. reported that staff has installed the memorial plaque for George Kuffner on the backstop at Kuffner Field. Lindsay Llewellyn led a discussion of long-term planning priorities from her list. The commission will hold a meeting on December 11th at 9 a.m. regarding marketing outreach programs that we could do. The 2018 budget spending was discussed. We are awaiting a mock-up of the Lost Superior book from Daryl McCool to determine if we want to go forward and spend some of the 2018 budget money for reprinting of the book. She provided pricing levels for 2 different quantities of the book. She will have the mock-ups ready for the December 11th meeting. Work is planned on the replacement of the museum front porch and restabilizing of the floorboards in the Grasso Park barn. Karen Snortland reported on the cost to dispose of the Grasso Park farm equipment, expected to happen soon. Members agreed to dispose of it in the October meeting. New business. Staffing for the December 1 and January 5 museum openings was discussed. The January 5 opening will depend on the weather that day. Boulder Heritage Roundtable meetings are planned on December 20th and January 17th at the Boulder Public Library. Larry passed out a drawing of a potential diorama of the industrial mine, drawn by Ron Kaiser, a world-class model railroader and friend of his. He charges $15 per hour plus materials. It would be approximately 42 inches by 30 inches. Members asked if the mine camp area could be added, and Larry will check into this. Some pictures were given to Katie Olson for framing. Larry announced that he has an additional shelf for the museum kitchen. There was a short discussion on the election of officers for 2019. Anyone wanting to be an officer should let everyone know. Likewise, any current officers should let people know if they do not wish to continue in the office. Everyone should look over the 2018 work plan in preparation for the January meeting. Larry announced that if there is a quorum where decisions can be made and voted on in the planned December 11th meeting, there will need to be an agenda and minutes taken. Larry announced that he has mailed a copy of the Lost Superior book to Denzel's great-grandson. Karen S. has been in contact with him. The CPI conference in Denver is scheduled for February 4th through 7th. They are wanting someone from the cemetery working group to speak at the conference on Wednesday, 2:45 to 4 p.m. Karen S. announced that OSAC would like help from the Historical Commission and other town advisory committees to name the trailhead leading adjacent to the industrial mine. Bob Morgan moved that the meeting be adjourned at 11:50, and Mary Cartwright seconded the motion. Our next regular meeting will be January 18th, 2019.
Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Okay, motion to accept them?
I so move.
All in favor? Aye. Say aye.
Who seconded?
Oh, anybody second it? Did second?
I will.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Karen, as always, for your fine job on the minutes, so. And we've got, a new format for our, agenda, so I'm not exactly sure what we're supposed to do with number 4.
So this is just part of our new peak agenda software through Granicus that we're using in order to kind of put some
Consistency.
consistencies across the board throughout all the, Larry already knows that I've been having trouble talking this morning, so please bear with me. I don't know why I can't get it out. So the agenda approval gives the opportunity to take anything off the agenda that we can't, we don't think we're gonna be able, like if a member says, I want to talk about, this on the agenda, and then that person doesn't show up, and we decide that we don't wanna talk about it. During this time is when we can make those changes.
Of the
Deletions-
current agenda?
Yes.
Agenda approval of what
Yes,
we're about to
of
talk about.
this current agenda, so deletions or additions to the current agenda for today. So if there aren't any, then we just move
Just go
forward with
on, huh?
approving it, and then you just do the same thing as you did with the minutes for approving it, a first and a second to approve.
Bob's not here, so who's gonna do the account? Or-
So I have all of that.
Karen has all that, yeah, I guess. Motion to accept the, approve the agenda. Is it- I'm asking for a motion.
I'm so moved.
Okay.
Come on, somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Katie, second.
Second?
All right. I think I'll just declare the agenda approved.
Perfect.
And, the public comment, that's if anybody's not here, or if anybody's here who's,
Doesn't look like it.
yeah. Okay, so I think we'll move to that. As we go into the treasurer's reports, I had a conversation with Bob last night, and he was, all ready to come today. And then I got a message this morning that he, said his blood pressure was racing, and so he's gonna go get it checked, so he's not here. And I'm glad, since the weather changed like that, that he decided to stay home anyway, so. Okay, Karen, if you
Yep.
don't mind?
Yep, Lydia and I both met with Brian this week to kind of go over everything, and he did give me the Historic Commission donations fund. So we have, moving into January, or in 2019, we have $815.50.
$815.50?
Yes.
Thank you.
And we don't necessarily have it on the agenda for today, and it can be something that we do in February, but we do need to kind of discuss ideas. As you'll remember, we talked with the finance department about earmarking this money for something to be, for it to be used on something this year. And then in next year's, it will zero out at the end of the year if there's anything left.
I mean, some of us are still not in agreement with that.
Oh, okay. I thought that
I
that was
don't-
already
Maybe
decided.
this is not the time to bring that up, I don't know.
But that's one reason why I brought up paying for the diorama through this fund, since that'd be kind of a good direction for a donated fund, but we'll come back to that. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yep, so
preservation.
that, yep, and then I have the preservation fund, and obviously we start, 2019 with the $5,000. Brian did note that there were 2 payments to Ron Kaiser, for the diorama project, that will come out of that, one for $254.96 and one for $252.80. So that will come directly out of that $5,000.
Yeah, so we're like at 4,400 right
Right.
now, approximately, yeah. All right, thank you.
A quick question on that. Were any payments to Ron made out of the 2018 budget?
No.
So did that get zeroed out? Didn't we have some money to spend
So,
on that?
so there was
We got it.
$118 left.
We got real
Okay.
close.
We got
Okay.
very close, yes, because we purchased the books
That's true, yeah,
Yeah.
the books was big.
and the maps, which I have examples of both
We
of
got
those.
the map
Right.
too.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Karen.
Yeah, so Brian and I had a lot of talk
Yeah,
about that.
yeah,
as
that's
we
fine.
Got toward the end of the year, so, yeah.
That's good.
We did some of that framing, we did that, it wasn't much, it was 100 or 100 and something
Yeah,
for the mounting of those things.
right. Nice
Printing
job
and
on those too,
mounting.
Katie.
Yeah.
Nice job on those too, Katie. Those look good. Yeah, so Katie did, some mounting of those, map and that
The painting of the
print that, watercolor painting of the schoolhouse.
Yeah, Marshall. The coal mines.
It was really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Old business. Okay, museum opening on December 1st and January 5th, both had pretty good turnouts. I'd say upwards of 15 on both days.
Yep.
And and we were once again regaled with Danny. Danny came and visited with us at least once.
Yes, he did.
And so, yeah, we had some real good connection with people on those 2 days, I think. Reaction to the Christmas potluck.
Yum, yum.
It was great.
Now, that's a good reaction, I have to say. There was a lot of yum yum there, that's for sure. Yeah, it was really nice.
Yes. Very
Enjoyed
nice
it.
of Larry and Cheryl to host it.
No, that's nothing.
Oh, sure.
Does Cheryl say that?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, she talked about how much she enjoyed doing
Okay.
it, yeah, so. Okay, so maybe Karen and Lindsay can sum up, or Katie can sum up the December 11th. I'm having a little trouble remembering exactly what we did.
Well, we went through all the different community engagement
Got a lot done, I know
ideas.
that.
Yeah, I thought we talked about a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do you have a copy of that for Laura? Doesn't you, or we could make a copy maybe? Probably be nice for her to see
Yeah,
that.
that'd be great.
At some, I mean, not necessarily right
It doesn't
this
have to be right
second,
now.
but-
I can email you it.
Okay, that's perfect.
Did we give ourselves any deadlines?
So I think for today, I can just try to incorporate the things that we talked about for the first quarter, like into the work plan.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so there are a few things that we wanted to get done by the end of the first quarter, by April, that we can just add in.
Okay, good. The roundtable.
Can we go back just a second? Because we did something else on December 11th. We approved the book.
That's right.
Perfect.
Didn't we look at samples of the
Oh,
book?
good. So thanks,
Here's a
Karen.
great opportunity for me to pass around. We have received all 10 boxes. Brian opened all of them and checked to make sure that we're all good. So I'll pass this around, but I think it's fantastic. I think it looks really good. The inside pages look really nice. And then this is the map, and we do have all of those as well, and it looks
Are they
very
sort of nice.
separate,
so we'll need to slip them
Yes, so the maps will need to be put into the back of the book, and they can just be slipped in.
And they're folded, they were folded
Just like
from the
that, yep.
printers, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yep,
I can't believe the difference in the price.
I know, it's amazing.
Good thing we,
On-demand printers are, pretty good these days.
so how many did we end up getting printed?
Ooh,
Didn't even put
I
you on
didn't
the
know you were
spot.
gonna ask me numbers.
Sorry,
We have
put
10
you on the spot.
boxes,
know.
and I don't know how many are in each box.
Usually
I
20,
can look that up.
Okay, we have
It's roughly 200.
yeah, and we still have, I'd say, probably 40 from the old bunch. And so, before these go out then, what we're gonna have to do is stuff the maps and at least one errata sheet to correct the couple of errors, and then I'll put that in there too.
So are all those gonna need to be stored back? We need to get those to the museum?
They're all there.
They're there, okay.
They're all there.
Yeah.
We could probably do that on February, whatever it is, when we're open,
Stuff all
Stuff.
this.
stuff, while we're sitting around waiting for people.
That means I've got to do an errata sheet by then.
Ah,
Because Daryl was suggesting too, to put in some of the houses that have been torn down since the book was printed
right,
too. So,
right.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And if visitors come up, we'll just say, hey, we're looking at our new book. And
I'm sure you want to
they're
buy
only,
one.
how much, yes.
And how much are we gonna,
Colorful book.
what, did
Yeah.
we decide on the cost or what,
No,
or
we
the
didn't
price?
decide on the price, no, we haven't.
This would be an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and how much do they cost per book? I've got my notes last
like-
month, but not,
5, 6,
$6 or something like that. I can look that up.
Trade it.
It's 93.
There you go.
And the map though.
The map is like $1 each. So
And is there a
say
plan
$8.
to sell these outside of the museum, like advertise to the public, or just sell at the museum?
Well, in our community engagement meeting, we talked about sales and marketing of books in the spring. So there isn't really a plan yet, but
Okay.
even just, we had talked about maybe Whole Foods would carry some, having some sports stable, right, kind of around. We just haven't figured it out yet.
No, we never
There's
have.
usually some at the desk out there too.
Okay.
Yeah, is there one, like on display in the deck that up here?
I don't
It's
think
not
it's on.
out, but people come in and they'll
And
ask
say,
for
okay,
it.
okay.
Well, our options are probably 10 or 15 or $20. We did this at $10 in the past, even at a loss. Just because, primarily because Martin wanted to move him out of his office, not because Martin wanted to move. And I think, this marketing deal, the lower the price, the more we're gonna sell. The higher price, the more we're gonna recover printing costs and be able to stockpile some more money for future, whatever, printings or whatever. So, because the floor is open for discussion.
Does that money come back into our account? It does, right? It
I
always
believe
does.
so.
Okay.
It does.
all right.
It
Because
will-
those are the like $10 that comes
Yes.
into our,
Yes, it does. It goes
it
back
used to go in the fire truck, right? But now it's going.
Oh.
It's
No,
at the
no, it
separate-
used to go right back to the town because
Town.
they had covered the cost.
Okay, so that's the question, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but if this has been paid for out of our money,
Yeah,
yeah, our allocated money.
well, I think it should be at least 15, if not 20. I'm the salesperson over here. So.
I
And
think,
20 is very reasonable even still, I think.
Yeah.
But
I don't think people have ever had a problem with when it was higher. We've even gotten more money, like at the 4th of July parade area. People have given us more for the book even though it was 10. They handed us 20 and said, well, just keep it.
I think we definitely need to raise the price because we need to recoup some of the, I don't know if we need to get real high, but, I totally agree, we gotta raise the price. And I guess if they wanna do 15 or 20, it's fine with me if that's what the majority wanna do.
Well, the floor should be open for a motion.
well, are we through discussing? Oh,
I guess I'm still wondering if the money goes back to the town directly still, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have that written down as a question to ask. I mean,
It does, so.
I don't.
because it used to be like Bob would collect it and I thought it would go into the fire truck account, wouldn't it, or
The
something?
book money was supposed to be kept
Yeah,
separate
it seems
from
like it,
other
Katie.
donations.
So that's what he would give to Brian or something?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think maybe they might have, did they do away with that account and meld it into the,
Donation.
yeah.
yeah,
I
and
think
then
that's-
I think it went back to the town since the town had covered the cost way back, separate.
Okay,
I'd
well,
feel
you-
happier with 15, just because I'd like the cost not to be a barrier for people to buy them.
That's what I feel about it too.
So guys,
Yeah, what do you think,
what
Jill?
do you think of, we have a price, right? But we say a minimum requested donation of $15 versus the book costs $15.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, aren't you a clever girl? Yeah.
Some days I get lucky.
Jill
right?
is
But
not sleeping in her
It
office.
kind of gets people thinking, oh, I could give a little more, like the 4th of July Karen's talking about. But it covers the minimum costs and what's the norm that Katie's talking about.
Yeah.
How'd you word that, Jill?
A
Suggested?
minimum requested donation of $15 or $20, whatever the amount is. But it's a donation, and we have a minimum, and go from there.
How is everybody feeling about that?
I like that.
Yeah.
Well,
How do you feel, Kate?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I guess the only other thing too is if you are selling it to, if we're gonna be taking it other places and someone is in charge of doing that, that takes time and effort, and 15 is probably, it could be higher if we are selling it to like Whole Foods or in a gift shop somewhere, or, but that's okay, it doesn't have to be, when they come to the museum or to events, we could say it's 15, but if we're actually taking it somewhere, I think it's okay for it to be 20.
Lydia, is there a price on the back?
No.
We took that off.
Took it off, okay. good.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought we did, just want to make sure, because we had that one as one at 195 or something like that, and never sold it for that, so. Okay. Good. Okay, is there a motion to set a price on the Lost Superior book? Which we will word, when we're approached or by signage, a minimum requested donation of whatever we decide, so. Who's gonna move? What motion do we have for a price on the book?
I make a motion, we sell the books at $15.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to have a minimum requested donation of $15 for the Lost Superior books for sale in the museum and town hall.
Mhm.
Any further discussion? Okay, then all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
The nose, motion carries.
Motion carries, so that will be our strategy from here on out. That's fine. A few more to sell off, probably take another few months to sell those off, and then we'll start in on the new guys.
Right,
Mary.
I just remembered having suggested that we have a stuffing session February 2nd, there's also that training.
Oh, yeah.
But whatever, what we get done, we get done, and the rest can carry over to the next month, it's no
I know.
rush on that.
So now, the books that we have left, of the old ones, are we gonna continue those at 10, or are we thinking about moving that up to 15 as well?
Well, might as well move it up to 15.
I would just say 15. No
Yeah.
one's
I
gonna-
would say
It's the
for all
same.
of them.
It's
Yeah.
way,
Quality,
yeah,
so-
it's more confusing to say, well, these are the old ones. or-
How many do we have left?
I think around 40. That may-
Suggestion? What would we think of donating a handful to Monarch K8, Eldon K8, Superior, and the Louisville Libraries?
For
The library has a copy, definitely,
Okay.
or at least
In the
two.
schools?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I actually was just having that thought too, where else could we, give them? So that'd be awesome. Every school library should have one
Yeah.
in America.
Exactly.
But it's like, I needed to add that at the end.
But they should have,
School library,
Not
the
if we
second
have to
grade teachers, I
donate
think
to-
it goes very complimentary to
Yeah.
coloring books.
yeah, with the second
But we
grade
need
teachers,
to arm
yeah.
them with it.
But they need the new copy that'll have the errata sheet.
We can put their ad in the old one too, actually.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just get my
Right.
act together.
And it starts to, it's less to keep track of, right?
Yeah. That's a good
One
idea.
less thing.
Also Monarch and Centaurus High Schools, I suppose.
Yeah.
If they don't have them already. We did get those out to some organizations, I can't remember now.
And do all the second grade
2004.
teachers get a copy?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Shouldn't we, I mean, couldn't we do that?
Yeah, sure.
Like, just give that to them? I know I was just talking about making money off of them, but that would probably be
But,
nice,
I mean,
and
but, right,
they'd have
in
that.
10 years, how many, we've sold how many, and we just got a new influx?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's taken us all these years to sell 1,000 of them, so.
I can contact Superior Elementary, but that's the only librarian I know, but I can ask her.
No, I can take it to Miss Dantino at Aldo.
Mhm.
Well, maybe they should make sure there's one in each school library and for each second grade class, so we'll probably need to take 4 or 5 to each school then.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I can do Aldo if
okay.
Katie's got Superior. I don't know anyone at Monarch, so.
I don't mind doing Monarch, I don't know them, but I'm sure they're friendly.
Just
Yeah,
take your driver's license
You
so they
just have
won't
to
let
get
you
through
do
the hallway.
building.
Yeah.
Sure, I can do that for Superior.
okay. Well, give me a chance to get the rata sheet done then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Or somebody to do it. Okay, now as I see it, we just took care of number 9 on the agenda.
Sure did.
So we'll back up and And a good decision, I think. Another thing came out of the December meeting of the roundtable. That was just a potluck, shoot the breeze. Yesterday, the historic roundtable was just a bunch of people involved in organizations or privately involved in historic preservation in and around Boulder. So it's just like Boulder County Open Space, and City of Boulder, I can't remember what their title's called, and then some museums and so forth, some representatives. Yesterday, I think one interesting thing that came out yesterday is the Boulder Public Library had all that controversy recently about the Carnegie Library. And it sounds like the library is trying to come up with a way to become a library district for City of Boulder and unincorporated Boulder County. And then the other thing I thought was interesting is that Harbeck House, it used to be where Historic Boulder is located. Boulder History Museum is located. Town is looking into going through all the options: sell it, don't sell it, keep it. And it looks like they're moving toward maybe having housing a number of nonprofits in that building. So, and also the City of Boulder's had a conference with local Native American groups about changing the name of Settlers Park. You know, Settlers Park there at the mouth of Boulder Canyon, called Settlers Park because that's where the first white settlers settled, but there are already people here. So they're going through the process of bringing in them and coming up with options for that. That's probably some of the main things. Gladys Forsey's been attending. Catalog and filing donation update. Next.
We didn't do anything, did we?
Didn't do anything again. Oral history video project.
So I got scripts from Mary and Larry. So the to-do is back on me to consolidate those with our notes. Pardon me. And send the videos we have, the recordings, and the picture files to Dave, and then find time in his schedule that we can take a walk through them, see what we do next. But kind of need to have the script and then back into that with the supporting pictures and whatnot. So, and we've got recording-wise, we've got Bob doing. Lindsay, you did these for us. We've got Bob doing the tours a year ago, May. We've got Denzel on architecture and one other one recorded, and we also have two on Bob, one where he's walking around describing his paper route and the milk route as he walks up and down the streets of Old Town, and we have Bob discussing where they used to go to the swimming hole and ice skating and different things they did for fun. So, figuring out, let the powers that be figure out how to work that in. To a Grasso Park themed or an overarching theme to start with, and then you can peel it off if we were able to grow it at some point. So, that's what we've got.
Jill, could you summarize for Laura what you're doing?
Yeah. So, Laura, what we're hoping to do is use a QR code on the signs as some key landmarks.
Okay.
Where when you access the QR code, it brings up a video on probably the Town Superior site that shows more on the history than you would get from reading the signs.
I love it.
So it may be an audio file speaking to more pictures from that area that plays for anywhere from 90 seconds to 3 minutes. Ideally, we'd like to get it in 4 or 5 places that say, and if you go from here to here to here, right, you would get to the mine camp, you would get to Asking Park with the museum house, you'd get to the mine cart. I don't know if we have that much content right now, but so where do we start with it? How does it play together?
I love that.
That's what we're looking to do, but make it more interactive to your random visitor at the park versus getting that interaction on museum openings or our spring talk at different events.
So that job was consigned to someone younger than some of us old timers.
Well, I love that, especially the idea of once you get enough of them strung together, you could say, hey, here's a 1-hour tour, go around, do that. I mean, that reminds me, I know the Louvre in Paris has an app that's similar where you just press play on your phone and it tells you, take a left, walk here, and all that, so.
Right, it has a location tracker too, yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that we're thinking cutting edge with this. This is great.
Yeah.
Cutting edge, Jill.
So,
We are quite cutting edge.
cutting edge or bleeding edge. There's been a lot of hurry up and wait, but we keep plugging away. So getting the scripts is the next big step, and now I own consolidating them.
Okay.
Wonderful.
What, we could add, just as you mentioned, we could add, going on to the, interpretive sign where the railway depot used to be. And
Right, then the railroad depot, the
and then-
mine camp,
yeah.
FD Park, the mine car, just as a quick one. And we were even talking about if we could do something at the entry to the cemetery.
Right. And there's also one we could add, by the old town hall, which is now the sort of fire department, whatever,
Oh, yeah.
with the bell outside
The
and all
hard
that.
part is we don't have pictures that are specific to the areas. So it's more, do we have some stories we can tell to say, just learn more about history? And I'm kind of balancing that approach as I put this on my to-do list to write the script.
Okay.
Because that may play in, right? Learn more about this part of history, right? The mine camp, obviously, we have a ton of stories we can put in there. You know, at the house, what would be more fun than looking at that chimney and hearing Denzel, right? Talk about it and build around that, right? Of how the houses were assigned, how they were done, and do some things with those. So the ideas generate. We got to get the first one done.
Yeah, great.
And Jill, one idea that might help also take some of this off your plate is I wonder if we could involve any of the schools with this. Ask for a class to put together a script, maybe even have students volunteer to read it, both
Yeah.
from a perspective of, getting some of that work done, but also if the students had a hand in putting it together, they might be more likely to encourage their families to come check it out.
Just come, yeah.
We also have the Derek's video too, because there's some
That we could use and just load, yeah.
there's some dialogue on that too, some
You know,
monologue.
I have not seen that since my first visit, but I was much younger. So I'm gonna make a point to grab it.
Do you have one at home? Okay. I don't think we have very
But
many
if
of
one
those
of you can
left.
leave it on your porch, I can walk by over the weekend and pick it up.
Oh.
We have at least one, we might have a couple.
We better
Yeah,
see.
just text me if you can leave it on your porch, and I'll try and get it picked up over the next 1 or 2 days.
Okay. Trying to think where it is.
In the museum, really.
If it becomes a week from now, it's a week from now. The sky won't fall.
Okay.
If you have a problem finding it, let it, because I think I know where ours
Well, I
is.
don't want it because I'm in it.
I thought you might have it packed up somewhere.
Yeah, not yet, I haven't
Oh,
got that
okay.
far yet.
We need to
It
be
will
sure to hold on to one down,
Yeah.
in our
Yeah, I
collection.
can look into making more copies of that, I guess.
Oh, that's true.
Well, since it's 10:45, we better keep moving, everybody, so, Karen, anything else on the oral history project? So Karen W., anything in the communication correspondence department?
No, there's been no correspondence since November. Does anyone know of any thank you notes that need to go out or any other correspondence required?
Can't think of anything.
Okay.
Wait, no, he didn't leave his details, did he? The man that came in when we were open and left that, plat of the town.
No, a fellow from Original Superior gave us a plat map of Superior, and he didn't take the time to fill out.
Yeah, no, I do.
Oh,
And
okay.
now I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can't either.
So, no, I guess that's the answer, we don't have it.
Okay, if you think of his name and address, let me know.
Yeah, I may have jotted that down.
Okay.
It's really neat. It's evidently the plat that, I suppose Mr. Hake put together before they incorporated as a town. and it shows, and the streets are, the alleys are all lettered. And yeah, lighted, yeah. It was on somebody else's wall, and he made copies, one for himself, one to give to the museum.
I often wondered why Little Superior had Second Avenue. It turns out that the east-west streets south of Cold Creek used to be numbered. So like Douglas Street, whatever it is, used to be Second Street. So there's Second Avenue and Second Street. So that's on that plat map. So I learned something from that, which is always a good thing.
And we'll need to give that to Katie to copy onto better paper and all that. Yeah, 'cause this is on Xerox
Yeah,
paper or something.
yeah. Wonders who was the
We need
original.
more walls to hang stuff on.
Rotate.
Well, cemetery restoration project update from Karen S.
Yes, absolutely. So Brian and I met with the consultants. They shared with us a few design options inside the fence and outside the fence. We're getting closer to being ready to meet up with the working group again to kind of look those over and make some decisions on that. But at this point, we're waiting for budget numbers. So they brought all the design to us, but didn't bring us any numbers. So it makes it kind of hard for us to decide, because we know for 2019, we have $30,000 to spend on the project. So, but we can't make any decisions until we have those budget numbers. So as soon as we receive the budget numbers, then we'll email out for a meeting with the temporary working group and make some decisions on how we're going to move forward.
Great.
So, that'll be this spring. I'm looking for the work to be done this summer, June-ish, but don't quote me on that.
That's a good goal, though.
Yes,
Nice. Thank you.
so it's exciting.
Very good.
Yeah, I think you guys will, everything that you guys suggested and everything, they took all of that into consideration, and it's all been put together in the design, so I think you'll be, but we didn't want to show it to you without numbers, because it's exciting, and, if we don't have the numbers, then we can't decide what to do and what not to do.
Did they
So-
give you did you give them parameters of how much we can spend?
Yes. Yep. So they're very aware of that. So, and it'll be a phasing project. I mean, I think, we'll have this design and we can phase in based on the amount of money that we have each year to spend on it and make it happen in different phases. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Laura, have you been to the cemetery?
No, not yet.
Have to have a field trip someday.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Do you know where the cemetery is?
Over by Grasso Park, right?
No, so it's just right up behind Sports Stable.
Oh.
On the hill?
Completely wrong,
Yeah. I didn't know if it was there either, so it's kind of exciting.
It's right along
It's really
Highway
cool.
36.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I've seen that on the maps, actually, now that I've.
There's a black fence around it, you can see it from 36. So
Yep.
wrought iron
Yeah.
fence.
Okay.
Okay.
If I may, and I don't know if this is the appropriate spot to put that, but while we're on the cemetery, has there been any progress on getting a street or road into the cemetery?
So there's the temporary one that goes from the
Yeah.
development that's up there, so that temporary one is there. But there isn't, and then the project that's over there is about 3 to 5 years out. So we'll take that into consideration when and we do have that in our conceptual design. We just have to decide money-wise if that's
Okay.
something that we can do, but that will be a part of it eventually.
Okay.
And I'll have more to say about the cemetery under new business, I guess. That's where it is.
Oh, okay.
Your question's fine. Photos at Sports Stable, Katie?
Sure. I feel like I already passed this around, but we can look at it again. I think we're just at the point, a few things. So Laura, we had this idea really Rita was the one that started it, that she was talking with the chamber, and then Brian and I met with the Sports Stable guy about doing a bunch of old photos in and around the Sports Stable. And then I was tasked with doing this flyer, and now and then the chamber lady, then she left.
Right.
So so we said, we'll start working on it in January. And, but we need it was really exciting because the chamber was totally like, yes, we can do this. And without a strong partner, then we don't just want to email it out. She was really gonna like send it out, Heather,
Sure.
and,
Was Trisha involved at all?
Yeah.
Or just-
she's there, Trisha's
Yeah,
another one.
Trisha's still there, and I have met, is it
New
TJ?
guy?
TJ, yes,
Yeah.
He came to our office the other day and I met him,
Okay.
and I talked with him about this project,
Oh, you
and
did?
ACES
Okay.
also is interested in meeting with him to do some green business stuff, so
Okay.
I can, set up a meeting, because
Sure.
I think he'll be totally on board.
Okay. But mostly I wanted, like today, some feedback on what you guys think of the way this looks, what's missing, what looks, you know, are you guys fine with it? Yeah, you're supposed to keep them.
I didn't realize there was.
I think the thing before is people are like, well, what's the message? So I changed it to say at the top, wanted sponsors. It does describe like what the point of it is, but I could redo it. I could tweak it, whatever you guys think. Yeah, that's it. And then, right, the other part is I still need to talk with Louisville Museum about using some of their photos. And then the chamber side of figuring out when we send this out, that really send it out and kind of kick it off right. So do you guys have feedback on the flyer? Is it confusing? Should I scrap it? What does everyone think? You can be honest.
Well, it looks like it's pretty much all there, isn't it?
I think so.
You'll have to have some, like, contact information somewhere.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
contact,
I
yeah,
was
that's
gonna, oh, maybe I had, yes, and this says TBD, and then yes,
Yeah.
correct.
And then there's an extra dollar sign.
Okay,
Oh,
can I use that copy?
I think the
Means it's extra
messaging is all,
Does it make sense to people? And is this still something that we want to do?
Right, it
Sure.
does.
It has to be.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think it should be scrapped.
Okay,
definitely.
and I think it could set up for doing more things with the chamber, like we wanted to, I don't know, give something to the oldest businesses in town or something like
Yeah.
that too, in recognition. Yeah, just have more engagement with other groups and businesses in the
Businesses.
town.
okay, so then I will email you, Karen, and
Mhm.
maybe we can set up a meeting with him.
Yep.
Yeah,
Katie,
Mhm.
can you have Larry take a picture and text me,
sure.
just for reference?
Right now?
Is it
I can do it. I have a
flyer?
phone. I can do it.
Do you have her number?
No.
It's right here.
Oh, which number, Jill?
Here, we have it right here.
720?
Yeah, the
Oh,
720
she wants
number,
the
yeah.
720.
That's why she wanted me to do it, I think.
9755. Yeah, then I can see the flyer.
What's the middle part? 720 what?
272.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. High
Okay.
maintenance, I know.
My gray hairs are showing how amazing this is that we can,
Mm.
there it is, Jill, you
Yeah,
can see it in
yeah.
a second.
Great, huh?
Okay.
And then the one other thing is we were gonna do like a limited, kind of a limited amount of time, like if we kick it off March 1st or something, by April 15th, we'd want, you know, everyone to, and, you know, if there's other like, groups that I need to be going to talk to, it's a good opportunity to just go talk about the commission and the history of Superior anyways. So if there's like chamber meetings or other community groups, I could kind of use this as a reason to get in front of people.
Sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that'd be the thing to do. What else besides chamber, I wonder?
there's like the Mod Moms group and the, Isn't there an entrepreneur, like a women's entrepreneur group that meets? But that's through the chamber, right?
Yeah, I think Mom Moms also
Now,
has
the
like a Mom
chamber,
Moms
the
in
chamber and
Business.
Mod Moms have merged they're two separate orgs, but they merged their meetings just recently.
Oh,
Merged meetings, okay.
Yeah, their meetings and their info, their like education sessions and stuff.
interesting.
Don't ask me how, I just, but they have
Moms are
merged
just
their
taking over the world.
That's right.
events at some level.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Katie. This is great. Ron is working hard on the diorama. We had to make an adjustment because the mine was going to be in the middle of the display of the diorama. But then, in order to get a few representative mine camp houses, we had to move it over, and he'd already built the vertical shaft, and so I had to be a little firm with him and say, we've got to have it over here. So at this point, the mine shaft is really looking good, looks very realistic. He has the rail cars purchased, some CNS equipment he was able to find, and he's been building the tipple. And we have scale model corrugated steel to put around that. So probably what this is, I didn't get a more up-to-date drawing, and the picture isn't relevant now either. So, but basically what's going to happen is we're going to have the mine shaft's going to be over here, the mine tipple's going to be over here, mine shaft over here, and then that way he can put in about, I think we decided maybe 6 or 8 of the mine camp houses.
Oh, great.
So it's going to be a little bit out of scale. And then I'm hoping that once we get that done, that we can have Alan do some signage, so it'll say 265 feet deep or something like that. So that's the mine camp house. Mine camp had 23 houses or whatever. So, so I wish I had a better picture. He's made a lot of progress on it. So,
Great, that's really exciting.
but we have also spent over $500 on it so far. So I hope it goes out the way I had, because
Thank you.
there's more coming.
It's a fantastic investment. That will really open up so much more than standing in front of those second graders saying, 200 and some feet deep.
Well,
And then I say, well, it's like some of the tall buildings in Denver.
yeah, it's underground, so.
That's underground, yeah.
They just don't,
And so,
even for me.
he,
Yeah.
he at first wanted to put these sliders on the bottom, so finally I said, we're gonna have to do casters. So we got casters on it, and 2 of them will have brakes, so they can stay put. And I'm thinking down the road, we might be able to put it over here in the lobby,
Yeah.
for,
Whatever.
an exhibit or something like that too. So it's in the works, folks. It's
Great.
looking good.
Great.
Super.
Long-term planning priorities. Walter Lindsay.
I don't know if we really need to discuss this separately from the work plan, really. I don't know, there were a bunch of things for the first quarter, like working on the brochure, trying to create some sort of format for a volunteer mailing list. If we had the brochure ready, it'd be nice to be able to just give that to people, when they come in, and just have like a list of events for the year to hand out and contact information, if they want to learn more. And then we talked about advertising the book and having a price list for all the sale items in the museum. And then thinking about what displays we want to have this year and coming up with a list of places to distribute flyers. So that's
Well,
the sort of
Karen
stuff
S.
that's
has just
coming
put
up.
up the work plans. We incorporate these into the work plan. Is that what we decided to do?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'll try to capture what, your changes and things as we're going. Lydia's also gonna take notes so that we can have a final document. But Larry, you go ahead and,
Are we just
or
reviewing
Lindsay, lead the process.
Are we reviewing
The whole work plan, that's what we're doing right now?
Yes.
Well, so I'm confused about the order of business, I guess. So are we reviewing the old work plan and then moving on to new business, or we switch over to the 2019? Or
Well, that's up to you guys on how you guys want to do it.
Well,
Like, if you
then-
feel you need to review it, Larry, you go
It's
ahead.
just on the agenda.
What happened?
Do we,
I missed something, I think.
on the agenda, it says 2018 work plan review
Oh, okay, I see what
for
you're
the
saying.
old work plan, but then more important is probably
The new work plan.
the new work plan.
And where's the new work plan on the new business?
New
Yes.
business.
Yeah.
Oh, first one, okay.
So I guess I didn't want to move to new business if we were still
I
in
get it, okay.
old business.
Okay,
I guess, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I think it's probably important to just really quickly look at the 2018 work plan, that fourth quarter, and see if there's anything that needs to jump to
Yeah.
first quarter.
Fourth quarter is very short, so.
Yeah,
It is,
awesome.
yes. Oh, we didn't do number one.
Or two.
Or two.
Or three. No, we sort of.
Well, number two
Well,
wasn't our fault.
Yeah, and
Two
number
was
two
canceled.
won't be happening. It's,
It's a
watch
per-
this. Go on.
It's a permanent deletion.
Oh, it's permanent?
Yeah.
no.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I thought it was
Why?
just last year.
No, we were actually told that yesterday, so we got all of our tears out yesterday. So, but we are supporting Skate with Santa, so that is our winter event.
Just a quick, what did they tell you was the reason why?
Did you get a reason?
Um,
Lydia, you're on the spot.
it was
Brian?
just to, support Skate with Santa,
Santa.
and they just wanted to like incorporate the two into the one, rather than spreading them thin.
And from what I know, what Patrick said to us yesterday is that the direction came from the mayor.
And
Well, so there won't be a tree lighting in the town?
No,
Hmm.
not at this point, unless something changes with like
Well,
the
the
CABS
film's going on.
committee. and their-
yes,
Historic Commission puts on our
Right.
agenda
Have some sort of winter
or
event.
work plan to.
unless they make it bigger and better, and they could light a tree across the street, or.
Yeah, yeah.
We could probably go and do something
There's no
separate.
trees over there
I know.
Small.
that are big enough.
We talked about blow-up ones.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
We
well.
probably could have something in December, just museum focused and something or other.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
hot
Yeah.
chocolate at the museum and.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ooh, hot chocolate schnapps.
There we go.
Like
Oh, I'm there, Wally.
I didn't say that.
Uh-oh.
Disregard. I have no idea
That'll
what you're
just be
talking
in
about.
the corner.
Yeah, let's get some schnapps in those kids. Huh?
Let's remember we are being recorded.
So they saw my face probably when I said there's gonna be.
Oh, what they're talking about, that
Just
took
give
place
me-
over here at our museum. And we'd
Okay.
have our fire truck out there, and that would be all lights around it, and they were
Right.
supposed to guess.
Yeah, the
How
kids would
many
get so
lights?
many lights, yeah. I had heard great things about it. I'm emailing our manager right now to kind of find out what's going on. I know CAPS was thinking that was still happening, so.
Well, it's just hot off the press from
Yeah,
yesterday,
that's
though.
just what we heard yesterday,
Mhm.
so.
Well, I know they have to manage
Resources.
resources, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So have we finished this then, and we go to 2019, or?
Well, we
is there
haven't
something
really
else?
developed program options for 2019, so that probably needs to fall into
I
the.
don't know if I know what that means,
It,
program options.
that's just up at the, what is program options? Is that that's not the, museum exhibits, I don't know what that is.
I think it's just what we want to do, or, I don't know.
We've done that.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, I'm just,
I think that was, yeah.
I don't know exactly what that means, so, program options for 2019. So what's program? What do we talk about, is this what we do, I think, is this what we do every year?
May,
Huh?
May, we do have the town tour.
Yeah.
Support the fire truck 4th of July. I mean, is that what they're talking about?
Well,
So we
haven't-
had already done that.
yeah.
We've already talked about
Yeah.
It
what
was
we want to do.
earlier in the year, right? 'Cause I guess developing it means we continue to have our historic walk and our spring program and our field trips, school field trips.
Spring program,
Yeah,
that's coming up pretty soon, isn't it?
yeah. That's, I have it on.
Is it on here?
In mine it is.
Oh, Okay.
My pen wrote it on
Okay.
there. Yeah, I thought of that after we did the,
Mm.
okay, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. So, do we wanna, what do we wanna do with this?
I think we can just get rid of it.
That's kinda what
I
I'm
mean,
thinking, yeah.
But for the fourth quarter, that is a lot of time to not have anything for next year. Sorry, I'm moving on to next year, but I guess the point right now is deleting it for, I mean,
Yeah, so I think what you had said was, is there anything in the fourth quarter that
Yeah.
needs to be moved to first quarter? I think we're saying, no, there isn't anything, correct? Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll head up to first quarter, and we just need to kind of go through and revise and change. You let us know, what you want to do in the first quarter, and then we'll make those changes on here.
Yeah. Okay, so,
And that's how Brian told me that you guys did this in the past, so I'm hoping
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I guess I get kind of frustrated with the same wording being like copied over and then we don't necessarily
yeah.
do those things, so.
Right, so if there's different wording and there's big changes that we want to make, I mean, we can also, everyone, like Larry said, he has some things handwritten. If it makes it easier to do it that way and you want to handwrite those things out and then we go and make the changes and email it out to everyone. The process behind how we develop this can be whatever works best for the group. My ACES committee, did it differently than, so everyone just kind of does it, whatever works best for
I
them.
think we just go through here, because I see a couple already that we've dealt with last year that may not need to be on there again and so forth, so. I mean, should we keep number one the way it is?
I think so.
I do too.
Yep,
Number two, we keep working on people, so it was not that we aren't doing number two, so. can't get rid of it. Number three,
I think that the problem I have with number three is there's not like any measured, like how many times, could we make it some goal that the cataloging happens
yeah.
4 times a year or something, so
Yeah,
that,
'cause our goal should be once a month, I
Yeah.
think, so, yeah.
but it is.
Or like, yeah, 4 to
It's
6.
not happening, so I think it might be nice to say something like, and I'm not saying it's not happening, like.
No, we understand.
But if we just said, we really do need to do this about 4 to 6 times a year, or 4 times a year, or more, it might be nice to actually have some measured, just to get
What if
us
we said,
moving on it, but I'm also not involved in that part of it, so I don't know if there's enough to do all that.
Maybe we should say something like, have a minimum of the 6 times, 6 sessions a year, which is
Yeah.
too few, but it's more than we're doing now.
Yeah.
So Karen just put it on the screen, so.
I put for, we'll get that changed in a minute here.
See what was on there from last year.
Hey, Larry, a question on cataloging.
Yeah.
Right, from the first quarter.
Are we working through a backlog of items to catalog, or is this covering new items?
Well, a little bit of both. We've got, yeah, both.
Okay. So, instead of saying we're going to do this 6 times a year, right? If we've been working through a backlog for a long time, should we go through the items to be cataloged and prioritize them, high priority, medium, and low? And then say, by the end of 2019, we will have addressed the high priority items, right? And any net new additions that we receive.
I think that sounds
And then we
great.
attack the medium and then the low versus extending hours wisely.
I think that's a really good idea, because usually what we do is what's easiest to do in the 2-hour time period.
Yeah, but honestly,
But we-
I'm willing, if I'm there on a Saturday, let me catalog, right? Teach me to do it. If people aren't coming in. Right, and you take some of that, we have volunteers who have reserved their Saturdays. Let's use their time differently. Right? But let's choose, we have 50 high priority items to get cataloged this year. When we finish those, we start the mediums and work through the backlog and then commit to doing net new as they come in.
Okay, so I see us saying that number 3 would be to prioritize things in the collection. It's a high, medium, or low priority.
Yeah.
That's a weird noise. The ceiling coming in.
Yep.
And then to move toward cataloging the high priority items.
Correct. And I don't know what would make up a high or a low, but
Well, that'd be up to the committee, I think.
yeah, yeah, but, you know, and looking to say, okay, probably can't do that in February, right? We've already double booked February's opening. But between March's opening and the March meeting, right, to just set that and then say, okay, we're gonna work through this year, because gosh, if you guys have 6 days, right, in April, you get it done and we're not then committing to 6 months of meetings.
That's a good idea, I think.
I think so too.
Now, I don't have a feeling for how much you have to get to catalog. Is there a lot to actually be cataloged?
Yeah.
There is?
And,
Okay.
and they take a long time, each item takes a long time, that,
Yeah,
and then for meetings, people say, past perfect takes a long time, so we're not the only ones. It's not a fast process with each item.
Sometimes,
So my other question would be, is there, and we may have to call past perfect, but as systems, if there was a new release of the system, can you clone existing items? So I'm going to use the shovels, coal shovels, right? What do we have, 6 coal shovels?
probably.
Do we need to catalog the coal shovels, or do we catalog one, clone it, and just add a number to the other one, or a slight differentiator to it, versus doing each one?
Well, each one has been given by someone else, so it has a
Right,
different
but all you would have to
accession
change was
number.
who gave it to you. You wouldn't have to change the description,
The
et cetera, et
dimensions,
cetera.
We've had trouble with the cut
You
and
would be
paste too.
editing
haven't we?
versus doing a bunch of data.
yeah, and anyways, that probably
Yeah,
would,
but things like that, I think might be
some
worth
good
it, right?
ideas, yeah.
Streamline the process, or speed up.
It's sort of like, I like Laura's idea of, do I get a high schooler to offload this because I'm a bottleneck, right?
Or like I think, you know, on here it says intern volunteer. You do need to
Right.
have some historic preservation, you know, I mean.
Yeah, on that, exactly. But you see where I'm going to say, how do we look at this differently?
Yeah, and I do think that if Mary, Larry, and Alan are on here and they're not able to come, then we do need to probably explore opportunities to work with someone else to do it. So
Right.
that's in it too. Okay.
I think that's
By
good.
the end of 2019, is that what we're saying? The high
Sure.
priority ones by the end of 2019?
Okay.
That sounds good.
And so then the rest of the 4 catalog, that, we don't need any of that. This.
No, but leave the.
Yes,
floor.
explore the opportunities.
Yeah.
I would just propose that we do a separate, item for this commission designed program brochure, so that we actually do it.
What number are you talking
Number
about?
5, sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, to do number 4?
I just
I don't think so.
think
I think 4 is just sort of a generic
yeah.
Yep,
thing.
Okay.
yep, okay,
That
sorry.
sounds like a good idea, Katie.
5.
Yeah, so we were thinking we wanted the brochure to be ready by April because I think that timed with the
Rooftop drop.
drop.
Yeah, so just a separate item that says, design and publish or print a brochure.
With a deadline, with a date?
By,
Yeah, first quarter, by,
yeah, April, beginning of April.
and the other thing that we've talked about is ways to either start doing newsletters or flyers, and that's kind of in number 5. But once again, do we need to actually separate that so that,
I think it'd be nice to put together, have like a calendar of events on a sheet of paper that we can give to people and have a list of like volunteer opportunities, like if you wanted to staff museum openings or help with cataloging or attend commission meetings, things like that, and then contact information. So then it's like a half sheet of paper or something that we can just hand to people that are interested.
That's good, instead of saying, the first Saturday of May, they got something in their
Yeah.
hand to take home and put in there.
So maybe we could say something like increase,
Is this a new line? A new-
maybe, well, hold on, just increase, communication to public and volunteers with brochure, flyers, calendar of events or something like that.
It's just the lines on there.
Okay, and when are you wanting that done by?
Probably also just in the first quarter, we're at the
Yeah,
first.
since we're still in the first quarter, by April.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, just increase communication through
Karen's actually getting
mailings, flyers.
I didn't know if you felt like you had to take notes.
Oh, I'm just,
And
Yeah.
create
Just for yourself.
thank you. Yeah, yeah.
calendar of events. Did you get all
Nope, as well as increased communication to the public through,
that?
Mailing?
Mailings.
Marketing material.
or just.
And then you could say, and create calendar of events. I mean, I think,
And then this.
oh, it's the, yeah, it's the keyboard.
It's
I don't
always the
like that one.
keyboard.
As part of that, it'd be nice to have like a basic list of places to distribute flyers so that we just know every time we want to do that, we give them to
Where to, yeah,
whoever, the library and
yeah.
different businesses and things like that.
And then on number 5, you probably could just take off the commission design program brochure. What were the other big ones? For spring.
We wanted to talk about establishing a volunteer mailing list and maybe getting a new guest book so that they could have, we could
Oh,
have
email.
useful information, like their email that we can then use to follow up with anybody who comes in and is interested in learning more. So,
And I think that fits under, right, increased communication.
Yeah.
I would say, right, that is a way that we're increasing it.
yeah, so that's like a concrete step we can take to try to do that.
Do we want to add something about, work on plan to distribute books or something like that? Sales and marketing of the books, that's what we talked about, but do we want to do that in the first quarter? Do we want to move that into the second? We need to
Well,
be
if we're getting them
realistic
to the
with what we-
schools, we probably, first quarter would be better, because otherwise the schools are in
Out of
that
session.
chaos of last bit, before they go for the summer term, before go for the summer vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But probably if we get a few maps stuck in and a few errata sheets when they're done, and, because it isn't that many that we need to get out to the schools, only a couple dozen.
We need to add the cemetery, that you guys need to come up with the
working group decides on phase 1.
yeah, right? So instead of evaluate needs for cemetery, it could be decide on, or something like that.
Are we clear down to number 11 now?
Sorry,
She moves
I
fast.
just jump around.
I think we did 10, right?
The ones that I
No, we already
wanted
did the
to
upkeep
ignore,
I
on the
was
Grassland
thinking we
Park
were on
sale.
number 1.
Oh. No, I'm sorry, one on the, on this
Oh, excuse me.
one.
I'm on the agenda, sorry.
In number 10, we, I guess we could keep that, but we did had the jail painted last year by the volunteers, so. And so does it need to stay in there? I suppose it does. They said all.
Didn't we at one
Does
time?
it?
No, not if it's done, right? Is
I
it
thought
done?
they did it.
They did, yeah.
And I think,
But it does say continued upkeep.
well, that's because we weren't sure what to do with it, right?
Yeah, we weren't sure what,
Okay.
if they were painting it or,
Been repainted. So Wally had it.
Didn't we discuss at one time about getting that up off the ground and set it on a kind of a wood foundation so that the metal is not down in the stones and stuff in there and constantly subjected to rust?
I
Yes,
thought
we
that
did.
the paint was supposed to
Well,
mitigate rust.
I think it needs new, that's right. I think it needs new wood, because there's
Yes.
already some wood there, and it's cupped and that sort of
Yeah.
thing, so.
Now, does that go all the way around the whole jail cell, or is that just the front? And what I'm getting at is, do that under the entire jail cell?
Well, we could put that, to come up with a new base for the
Yes.
jail cell.
11.
Do you want to keep that in the first quarter,
No,
though? We're
10.
going to do that in the first quarter? Like in the winter, or do you want
It seems like
to,
a summer,
Yeah.
do you want to add it to the second, where the weather's better
Probably
and
so.
someone can actually go look at it?
So take this to,
Well, we do get a lot of wood work done in the wintertime around here.
Yeah.
is that the one we're talking about, develop the maintenance plan for continued upkeep of the Grasso Park jail cell?
Yes.
So we're gonna cut that, we're gonna put it in the second quarter? Is that what we decided?
I would propose that. I just want this to actually be something that we can, these things that we can attain, that we really can do. So if we're gonna work on the work plan, I want it to be like, yes, we really are getting these, so if we really think we wanna get that done by April 1st, then we could leave it, but
We want it done by September so we can
Okay.
open it better.
So I think-
The field trips.
good, so second quarter.
So, and where should we throw it in here? This is something about Grasso Park,
after 8, yeah.
so after
Yeah. that'd be a good
coordinate the
place for it.
installation of farm equipment, so below that?
Yeah.
And then how are we changing it?
And,
I think that's.
Just
a
leave it
good-
the
good
same,
wording.
develop maintenance plan for the annual upkeep, for the
Well,
continued upkeep.
we were talking about making a base for a new wooden base for the jail. So,
So you could just say explore,
Maintenance.
yeah, explore options for the continued upkeep, so I don't know.
such as,
Well, I don't, does it have to be that specific?
well, otherwise we might forget about it, like we did this year.
I put it on the long-term plan,
Okay,
So to have the new base.
wooden
Yeah.
base.
okay, we got it in there, that's good.
Yeah, all we have to do is pursue a new base for jail cell.
Yeah.
We did number 4.
What about,
Are we finished
8?
with number 1, first?
Number 8 on the first quarter?
Right, so,
Yeah,
I kind of think that if we're working on the audio tour, that, yeah, I don't know how, if we actually ever do that, oral
is
history part.
continue developing oral histories that are relevant.
I think oral histories are important, but I don't know that we really have time to focus on that before April.
oh.
Receive
boy,
training.
yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's unreal. I think focusing on what Jill is doing
Yeah.
is probably more important right now than,
Do you want to, should we take that and put it somewhere else, or do we just want to get rid of it for now?
I think it would be good to do that, just not, it just doesn't seem like something that we can do
First quarter.
first, and even like research and stuff like that.
There's only one thing I think on the fourth quarter.
that's an idea. Yeah, the fourth quarter is a little slimmer. Yeah, good idea, Lydia.
And sorry, back to the first quarter, there was just something I was thinking of. Oh, we need to come up with exhibit, well, I guess that would fall under calendar of events.
Yeah, an
Is
exhibit plan.
establishing what exhibits we're gonna do, so 4 big exhibits is the thought this year, right? To not do, or, right?
I think in the actual year, it would end up being 3 and then 1 ready for like the beginning of next year.
Okay,
But
so I think, I don't know if we want that separate or not, but it's just really important to actually
That might be well,
say that.
do that separate, just
Say
establish a
it's,
plan for rotating exhibits or
Yeah,
something like that.
establish 2019.
And we've talked a lot
oh, yeah,
about-
you're still
So where am I putting this?
So why don't you put that in the third or fourth, I guess, right? Not that.
oh yeah, the oral history things, fourth quarter is probably fine, because then we can do a little research about what we have and what we need.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
Back in the first quarter.
8 is, or 9 is fine to say, establish 2019 quarterly museum exhibits.
And then we also talked a lot about trying to reevaluate how the museum is set up.
Of course, and that'll change a little when we get the diorama.
Yeah.
Any idea when that might be finished? I mean, I know we don't need to nail them down, just,
Might be this month.
oh, really? Okay, so that might be fairly soon. Okay, thank you.
Organized, is set up is okay?
Laid out, or,
Laid out.
I think that makes
Yeah,
sense to.
and I think when we do that, it's important to figure out how we're, the table with the sale items and stuff, I think. Yeah, I don't know, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
we-
things that go with that, but.
Yeah, underneath that. Yep.
So then 10 with the explore the potential for developing and conducting audio tours, does that stay?
Yeah,
Yes.
says Jill's.
Which one would be on?
First quarter, number 10.
So
Oh,
your
no, number
so
9,
yeah,
sorry.
and so your numbers are different than mine because I've added and subtracted, so,
We're still in first quarter though.
yes. So I think we just have number 11. Oh, and I changed that. Working
Changed that.
group makes
Yep.
final decision on phase 1 for cemetery improvements. So second quarter.
No, Number 1 should stay the same, I think.
Yeah. 2 is good, 3 is good. 4 is done.
Yeah, we
So, and this would be,
we can just
2020.
take out that last clause, but including blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, 2020.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
so
would
it'd just be
20.
develop 2020 budget recommendations and then this is
Period.
gone.
Yeah.
Because you completed that.
Yeah.
Woo!
Revisit
I'm not
long-term
doing
planning
nothing.
list at that point.
Develop 2020 budget recommendation and revisit long-term planning.
Yeah, because that,
Wait, what was that?
I said, if we're doing the 2020 budget, then we can revisit the long-term planning list then to make sure that we're doing things that we
Okay,
prioritize.
so it's still number 4?
Yeah.
I think 5 can stay.
Yeah, we did that, but there's always something to be
Yeah,
done,
I
so.
think that's
It's,
good.
it's pretty general, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Same with 6.
You know, at one point, we had talked about updating all the buildings in the town. What was that? What's that
Oh,
called?
the survey.
Oh, the survey, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, but it might be something that we need to start working on.
Oh, that's a good idea. So,
Update,
Building inventory.
yeah.
So what am I doing?
Where does that go?
I think that'd be good in the second quarter, like.
To at least start
Yeah,
doing it.
or figure out what that process
Yeah,
entails.
maybe
Yeah.
determine the need for updating the cemetery.
Yeah. Determine
The
the need
town, what was that called?
for
Building survey?
updating historic, right, historic building survey?
Yeah. But what, more than a survey, what was that?
Historic survey.
Yeah, historic, house survey, building survey?
Yeah.
Because wasn't not everything
I'm trying to
included at
remember
that
the
point
real
anyway,
name
so
of it.
building might just be a
It's all
good.
residential, buildings.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I
This
think
one
that's
is good
good.
for updating the historic building survey.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good.
And then, yeah,
Extra space in here. I'll fix that.
Farm equipment signs in Grasso Park?
I
Did
think
we
that
not
we
do
just
that in
need
a
to,
second?
Um,
we didn't do any signs, right? I think we need to discuss what
But I do
signs
have
we
some
want.
proposals, but that's, in our new business if we ever get there.
So number 8, coordinate the installation, that stays?
Hmm?
Sure.
Okay?
I think
Yes.
just, yeah, overall, when we were going through different things we wanted, just, there were a lot of signs. So I feel like the Grasso Park ones are really important, but we also need to just figure out what
Yeah, for the
signage and stuff we want
Boulder County open space.
for the future, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I've got a couple proposed drafts to look at.
So 11 is that Shan Trailhead thing, which we'll work on. So,
Yep, and I'm sure you all saw the email from the OSAC committee.
Did it go to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so you all got that?
Yep, and so, and there is, some specifics in there, what they're asking. So I do know that what they did is they went back to the OSAC committee and they said, please give specific items to each committee to work on. And so I believe it says in there that ours is to work on the naming. And so we don't have to do that today. March 1st is when they're looking for that information, so we can put that on. But you could also put it on your, if you wanted to revise this, or if you want to keep it the same, or, you know, whatever.
Well, that seems like the time to consider, like, the next meeting, if we're talking about the name.
sure,
If we
well, they
wanted
need
to
that
do-
feedback by March 1st.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
this
so
is
it
second
probably should be-
quarter.
then that
First
seems like
quarter.
9 should move up to the first quarter
Well,
or something.
Mm.
I mean, is
We're
that
doing
important enough to
Right.
be on our work plan to just give them a recommendation? Or is this more about partnering with them on this whole project?
No, it's just the naming. It's just giving your, recommendation, for a name.
So does that really need to be on our work plan?
Right, I mean, that's kind of a one and done type thing. They've asked you to do it, you guys, you know, do it. I don't know that it necessarily needs to go, but this is kind of different.
14
This
In the
is
brochure.
creating a
Yeah, that's
brochure,
right.
so I don't know if that's something that you still want to do.
yes, it
Okay.
is, yeah.
Perfect. So then that verbiage meets the requirement?
And then do we discuss that in the second quarter? I guess because by then we'll know more about what's going on with the whole project.
Yeah, that's very true.
Did we already stabilize the floor for number 13?
The numbers are different.
They are, so
What
the
was
plan
it,
for
number?
coordinate.
The
11.
barn, yes, I believe they.
Yeah, so that one
they
is-
have
It
done
was
that.
barn floor stabilized, yeah.
Yeah.
Tombstone tour?
I think it'd be really nice if we had the tombstone tour.
I agree, so I think we should leave it on there.
I guess it depends on if the cemetery is
Yep.
in a condition where it's okay for people to kind of.
That's what we're hoping
And
to accomplish.
Kick off.
Yeah.
Into the new business.
So the only thing that might have to happen is it might need to be pushed to like third quarter and getting it ready for the next year depending on the construction, but I think it'll be fine there.
Yeah, I mean, so the tombstone tour is supposed to be around Halloween, I guess.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it's October.
certainly, perfect.
So we can take prepared Grasso Park barn as stabilizing floor off, right? Because it's done?
Yes.
Do we need the lean-tos in there at all? I don't think we really do anything with them, do we? So if we took it
No,
off, it doesn't
we
matter?
don't, we don't open those, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
That's the same thing as,
I know. So this one gets deleted as well.
I think
Looks
so.
like, yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Here's-
12?
here's the-
We
yeah,
wanted to do that
there
last
it is,
year.
the building survey.
Yeah,
So, and we've put that up at the top, so we'll take that off of here?
yeah.
We better-
Create a brochure, we were trying to do that, yeah. We already put that in first quarter.
We don't need recommendation for cemetery improvements, because that was.
We're
the-
done.
Yeah,
So that,
right,
look
right.
at all the things you guys have accomplished.
Aren't we
Participation
special?
in the community parades for the fire truck is good.
Yep.
Yeah, neighboring community parades. So we did, we did
Louisville.
Louisville this year. We've talked about getting hold of them and Lafayette to have their fire engines in the Louisville parade too. It sounds sort of cheeky since we're not in Louisville, but that's all right. To have
Where are we?
old number 14, second quarter 14.
Okay, got it.
To have the three historic community fire trucks together in the,
Mhm. We need to put that in there, though.
well, it says
I
quarter.
think it just works.
Can I just leave it the way it is,
that
or?
one.
Yeah.
Another thing that didn't happen was, you guys meeting with the Lafayette
Lafayette.
Fire Department.
Yeah, we can put that in.
Well, I don't necessarily think that has to go on the, because that was a request from Lafayette, to do that, and so we can still make that happen, it just doesn't need to be on the work
Okay.
plan.
Yeah, that's right, because
Just
the
be
weather
nice-
was supposed to be bad, the
Yeah.
day that was
Yep,
scheduled.
and Brian still has that on his
Right.
to-do list, yeah.
I have to leave. I'm sorry that I have to leave, but can I just add one other thing to that third quarter when you get there? If there really is just gonna be the Skate the Santa for number 2, I think it would be nice to figure out a
Winter
little bit
program.
bigger of an event for the museum opening for that December.
December.
So it won't be called Count the Lights, but like a Christmas holiday. Can't say Christmas.
For an annual holiday
Holiday.
program.
Winter.
Winter. Yeah. So I'm sorry, you guys.
There's some of the things I was gonna have that
Okay, I'm sorry. And please let me know what I missed.
Go.
So what I plan on doing with this is emailing it out to everyone.
Good, thank
And
you.
then making, email me back any changes. Our plan is to have it ready by Monday or Tuesday at the latest to go in the packet for the 28th. And then Larry, I'm sure Brian spoke with you about attending the meeting on the 28th to answer any questions, if need be.
Yes,
Okay.
or anybody else from the commission would like to.
Thank you, Katie. for
Yeah,
your
thanks,
input.
Well, send it out, send
Drive
out
safe.
that day, send out the time of the meeting and stuff, when you send out the work plan.
Oh, for
To see if anyone
with the
else-
board meeting?
Yeah,
But Yep,
it's
I'll
gonna
do
be-
that.
It's on here.
It's before the board meeting, isn't it? Is it the work session?
So all of these will be on the consent agenda, and then the trustees have the option to pull them if they have questions or comments. So we'll know pretty quickly when the meeting starts, when the consent agenda comes around, what's being pulled
Okay,
and
so
what's
it's a
not.
regular meeting anyway,
Yes,
that's
yes,
okay.
yep.
I thought, somebody said that was a work session, okay.
But if it's
Keep
for the
going.
28th meeting, you need it by the 21st then, right?
Yes,
Which is?
Monday.
Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Is the
Okay.
town open on Monday?
No, we are not, so.
So yes, that's probably by Tuesday.
So Tuesday,
Okay.
so we do have
So
the
not like
option.
today, yeah.
No, so Tuesday would be good.
Are we done with the second quarter?
I think so.
I think, for the third quarter, it might be nice to try to make, contact with like the high schools and things when we've been talking about different projects. It'd be nice to get, Monarch High School involved or, I don't know, if the middle schools, just to see if the teachers would be interested in having students working on different history projects. Or if they wanted to do high school field trips, or if there's like specific projects we have by then that high school students can work on, like on an individual level.
So during the fall.
Yeah, and
when
it
they
seems
first
like
get back to school.
The time to do that would be contacting the teachers like before they are super busy. I don't know, they're always busy in the fall, but.
Right, but they'd want to get their kids going. Yeah, okay.
So tell me what I'm adding.
Yeah.
I just thought it would be nice to explore the idea of having further contact with different
Yeah.
area schools.
Secondary schools, I guess.
Yeah.
what we're
Yeah.
saying.
So when we're talking about like, oh, we could have like a high school student work on this project or do a research project or something, then.
So maybe besides taking the books to the Monarch Library, I want to find the Monarch history teacher and give them a copy as well.
Yeah,
Or
see if they would be
Centaurus, or-
interested in having a student do a local history
Yeah.
project for
Yeah, okay.
something.
Yeah, I think we ought to add the history teachers then in the high schools to our,
But did we do number 1 on the third quarter?
Sorry, that was just an idea I
Bounced
had
off
for
on that.
third quarter.
Because that'll stay the same, right?
Yes.
Number 2 is out. Number 3.
So number 2, we changed to coordinate logistics for an annual winter program at the museum.
Okay.
And then 3 is what?
Um,
Or we just leave that
Stays the same.
Perfect.
Yep.
And then Lindsay, I was adding yours as number 4, reach out to the secondary schools in the area for,
Student history projects.
I don't know if that meets that, but. Does that work?
Seems good enough.
Okay. I just want to make sure it's what you guys want.
So Tombstone Tour, they staying the same?
Yep.
old number 5, we changed to 2019.
Yep.
Well,
Okay.
no, oh, to review, never mind,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay. And then the long-term planning, we've done that,
Did
I
that.
guess, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll delete that.
What's the
Oh,
deal
this-
with number 7, the Hake Homestead? What's that?
Oh, okay, that's the, that's the one to the west along the creek where the well is and the old site of the Morrell House.
Oh, I know.
Hake
Down over
House,
there,
the old
yeah.
Hake House site,
Right.
which is surrounded by that. Yeah, because that was gonna be a park or something, or
But we don't really know anything
a trail or something like that. It's gonna be in there, so.
about that at this point.
We do not.
Just keep it as it is.
So keep as is,
I
or?
guess so, just
Yeah,
in
I
case.
think so.
I guess we can keep number 8. I think we're hamstrung with Tui. So,
Exploring the National Registry.
Well, I think that we need to, explore with Boulder County again.
So I think that says that down here, that says work on a proposal to send to Boulder County.
Yeah, so what happened was, we were gonna try to get it landmarked through the county, and it had previously been blocked, but now they think that there's a contact, that might be able to allow us to have it locally landmarked. Otherwise, National Register nomination would be the only option for landmarking the site, so. Anyway, so maybe local and national nomination.
Explore local and National Register nomination.
Yeah.
For the industrial mine site. Okay? And then number 9, the grant opportunities.
might as well keep it there, huh?
Does it, is
Yeah,
it useful to have it specific to Grasso Park?
Which is, yeah, grant opportunities in general.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, would we need it? Because when we say, oh, hey, Grasso Park, bar and floor needs stabilizing, it comes out of our budget, which the town generously gives. A grant opportunity, I think, for something major, do we have anything major in mind or need or?
We could just leave it as explore grant opportunities.
For future projects?
Yeah, for future projects.
I like that,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
good.
To help fund future.
Then what do we do fourth quarter?
So host a
Everything
winter program of some kind?
What did we do with number 1? Did we do something with that in the fourth quarter?
No.
Because I'm almost thinking, that's something we really need before the, field trips or before the walk.
Historic walk.
Yeah, before the historic walk in May. I wish we could get that done, but I don't know that.
That's probably why it's the fourth quarter, so we do it before the end of.
Yeah, do it at the end of next year for 2020.
Yeah, I'm thinking of this year.
Yeah, we were talking
Oh,
about
well.
moving
It's
number 1
something
up
we've
to the
wanted
first
for many
quarter.
years.
Didn't I move this one down here?
I thought you moved number 1 to the first quarter, but I didn't
What?
see it. 'Cause that's pretty-
Nope.
Oh,
We just took off 2 and 3.
I mean, I don't know if it's realistic to try to get that before May, but
I think it's worth it,
I think that's a high
Try.
priority.
yeah.
Do you want to work on it?
Well,
Would you like
just
to
see.
work on it?
I could.
Because that means we need to get to Carol Bean and get the,
No, there's a different person,
oh,
because, so I did this a few years ago, didn't.
right.
I guess actually it was after the 2013 floods, they didn't have any money then, so
But
Boulder
we're,
County did.
we're
You know, maybe
We're
we're too
funding.
late on it. I
we would be funding the signage. We just need their permission,
Well, we don't know
right?
that though, Mary, because there's no policy or precedent.
Right.
Well, I guess there must be, because there's some on the trail, so, oh,
And we can move it if that's something that you want to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
contact.
let's do
and-
Yeah,
that.
let's
It
do
seems
it.
like something to ask them about, like, at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
yeah. Put it in the first quarter instead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was just thinking, and then if Karen wants to contact them, I mean, it can be on here, and then if we need to,
And if it doesn't happen first quarter.
At least we would know the process.
Yeah, we'll know the
Exactly.
process that can be going through the year. Yeah.
The last time I talked to them about that, they suggested doing a brochure instead of signs. Because
Oh.
having a place for people to pick up a brochure and walk through the site.
I don't think the ACES committee would like that. That's it, paper, it's more paper, I think a
Yes.
sign is fantastic, I love that idea, and, we want to get away from paper floating around.
And then especially because it would be read.
Yeah, and discarded
Toppled
or
on
thrown on the
the
ground, and it's
Yes.
Well, it's
litter.
been 5 years since I talked to them.
We could have a
Well, yeah,
different
'cause
staff there now,
Their problem
Seems
before
to be-
was they didn't have money in the budget
Right.
because of the flood.
We're
The
just looking at the
2013
storm.
flood.
beyond
Okay,
you. It
okay.
is absolutely coming down.
Oh,
A
yeah, so
proper,
we-
Yes.
a proper snow.
so you can't see out this side, so
I know,
don't
I just
we
looking
need
beyond
to-
So we
you.
gotta,
Finish up
We gotta
here.
hold this up here pretty quick.
Okay,
And we haven't gotten to new business yet.
I know.
Well, this is
This
the
is
first
good,
item.
though.
this is the first item of new business, exactly.
Anything
Yeah,
else
and
in the?
Anything else in the fourth quarter?
I think, revisit the long-term plan again at the end of the year.
Revisit, review, or whatever, huh?
Yeah, and then think about items for the following year.
Yeah, good. We're gonna keep develop program options, whatever that means, if we decide we don't understand it anyway.
It seems like it's worth having something about looking forward to 2020, but I don't know if develop program options is good wording.
Yeah, it's some awkward wording, yeah.
Consider fresh or consider new opportunities or something, I don't know. I don't know.
Develop a game plan.
Well, that's kind of your long-term plan, but does the long-term plan, it includes your programs?
Yeah, I mean, we
And-
talked about like if we wanted to add new programs at some point or.
So I kind of think that the long-term plan, that does encompass, everything that you guys are doing. And so by revisiting the long-term plan and suggesting new items for 2020, that kind of pulls it all together. I mean, but you don't have to do what I say, it's you guys.
Yeah, sounds good.
That sounds like good advice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. So then we have those 3 for the fourth quarter. And I will save.
I'm looking
And
forward
then
to
we'll
your
See if we
copy.
can come up with
My all
any
scribbled
other,
one.
Yep, and then what I'll do this afternoon is I'll just go through formatting, and then I'll send it out to you guys, and if you have any additions, deletions,
Okay.
Get it to you by Tuesday, huh?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
And enjoy your long weekend and all. Okay,
Well,
super.
it's an important process, but, we are really kind of under the gun here with a whole new business section left in the snowstorm here, so, it won't take long for opening. We can just take care of that during,
Well,
emails.
No, because we have to,
Well, we'll combine
because
the
there's
number 5.
there's the training meeting as well.
So we'll combine it number 5. So what's this training meeting gonna involve, and how many of us have to be there?
Yeah, so it's for all members of advisory committees, and basically it's what I was hired to do. So I've been putting together a guidebook. So we're putting, in order to create consistencies across committees, we're not trying to change committees. To tell you the truth, when I talked about this with Brian, this committee does most everything that I'm putting in the guidebook anyway. So it's just an opportunity to learn, these processes and these guides that we're putting on paper. Patrick, my supervisor, puts it really well, where he talks about, we've had committees in the town of Superior for 20-plus years, but we've never had anything on paper on how they run or how they're formatted. So that's kind of what we're putting together. And that training on the 2nd is going to go through all of that. It's also going to be an opportunity to meet other committee members, you know, and kind of see what other committees do.
Does everybody have to be there?
Everyone doesn't have to be there. It will be a requirement to either watch. We are going to have it videoed. There will be a requirement to watch the video and sign off on the guidebook.
Yeah, somebody sent out an email this week on that.
Brian did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, obviously, we need to have some people at the museum. It's on the same day, so.
Right.
So,
Yep.
so I guess we need to have a couple of people in attendance at the other deal there.
Well, if everybody can watch
And
it
what
on
time is the
video.
museum open?
10 to 2.
10 to 2.
Okay, and this is 9 to 11. So if we, I mean, however you want to do it.
And does it take the whole 2 hours, 9 to 11?
We're in the process of developing that right now, so I don't know if it's going to be the full 2 hours.
We could assume so. So there's only 1 hour of overlap,
Right.
actually.
But what does that mean?
So people could come in the afternoon to the museum, or go to the.
So we'll have somebody open the museum and not go to the training.
Is the museum usually very busy 10 to 11?
It can be.
Yeah. Because I really think we need 2 there. I mean, like last time when we had little Kaylee who was trying to destroy things in her innocence. I think we need 2 people there. Because and while our museum has never had a problem with people stealing things, some museums do. And so I think you need, while someone's talking to somebody in the living room, I think you need somebody back in the back bedroom if there's.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we need 2 at least.
Well, if Bob's up to it, he'd probably be one. He'd probably rather do that than go to the training.
I'm usually
think I
there for the
volunteered to
opening
go to the
anyway, so I'll be
training.
there in the morning.
You're probably
I
gonna go
think
to
I
the
had
training.
volunteered to go to
Okay.
the
Very good.
training.
I don't mind
Excuse me.
which.
Well, why don't Mary and Karen go to the training and the boys will open up the museum?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Boys.
And it's open to everyone. So Lindsay, if you're available, if Katie's available, Jill, you know, it's open to everyone, so. The
Okay.
training.
There'll be more communication on that between now and then, of course, so,
And we understand, yeah.
yeah. FYI, I've been invited to be part of the CPI conference, Colorado Preservation, Inc., as part of a panel, myself and 2 other people, the word just went out of my mind, coordinated by Estella Cole. She's presiding. Each person's going to do 15 minutes presentation and then have it open to discussion after that. So one person's for the cemetery down in San Luis Valley and the other one's part of that association. So I'll represent us at that, and then you're presenting too?
At the exact same time, unfortunately.
Oh, that's right, yeah, you just said that.
Do you know what time and day you're doing?
It was
Yes,
the
Lindsay does.
6th of February.
It's Wednesday, I think, isn't it? February 5th.
6th.
6th, that's what I was saying.
I think it's
February 6th.
Yeah, it was in the 2 o'clock hour.
2:45 to 4 or something like that, 2:30 to 4.
Now, in our November meeting, Brian said he'd get me registered maybe? Did anyone get
Yeah,
registered?
so I'm
whether
here
it's
to
myself
confirm,
or-
yeah, who wants to go, and then I can take care of that.
Okay.
Because I think we had Karen and Mary that were interested, and so if the 2 of you.
Yeah, I was, but I didn't get the brochure in the mail
I
this year.
haven't had it either.
Oh,
So I don't
Well,
know
just
what I
go
want to
on-
go to because
go.
I don't know what's being offered.
just go to the website. See,
Oh,
Colorado
okay.
Preservation Inc. website has the whole schedule on it.
Oh, okay.
And they're doing it Monday through Friday, I think, at least Tuesday through Friday, no weekend.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, so if you guys want to
Usually
check
the
that out and
weekends.
look at it and then shoot me an email, with what days you'd like to go, then I can register you.
And
Okay.
some of the sessions you have to register for in advance too, and I did it with Brian last year. We like went through and had
And
to pick out.
picked out
Do
which
you know
ones.
when you
Yeah.
need that by? Is there a deadline?
I'm sure it probably says on the website, I can look
Okay.
at that.
I'll look that up too.
I think there's like different deadlines where you pay different amounts depending on what day you.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
which-
We've missed the cheap one before December 31st, I think, or the town has missed.
Well, some of
It's
those
nice
have an
to
extra
pay.
fee too if you go on the field trips, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
I'll go to the round table, I guess, next time. Anybody else is welcome to go.
You know, this time that's actually after our next meeting
Yeah. I mean,
because
that's-
of when the third Thursday.
Okay. Got it. I got a communication of the day from Anne France, so the next meeting is on the 18th of February at Westminster. So that should be a nice little museum.
And what is INFRAN?
Association of Northern Front Range Museums. It's a museum association.
Okay, thanks.
Which
Is there
we're
a new
member.
schedule? Is that on their website?
I don't know, I just got that mailing from Sharon Danhauer the other day, so
Oh,
that's the only reason why I do it.
I usually get those, but I don't think I got it.
I'll- I'll forward it.
Let's not worry about that right now. I can go on their website.
Do we still have a quorum? I guess we do.
Yeah, because Jill's still
One,
We only
I'm
need
still
five.
here.
Yeah,
Hey,
six.
no,
We only
Jill,
need
you still
five. We
there?
only need five. We've got
We've
six.
got five.
We've got six.
What am I-
Six.
Six.
What am I voting on?
I-
So you
why
can
don't-
adjourn?
Leadership
No.
elections,
Not yet.
which
Ah.
is,
So, and
Oh.
those, just so you're aware, this doesn't have to change anything, those can happen at this meeting or the February meeting. It's
Oh, okay.
completely up to you.
February.
Yeah.
Shall we table it to February?
Yes.
Let's do it, because I think we'll be fresher.
Yeah.
I passed around
Yes.
a couple of drafts. You know, we talked about having directions to the coal mine, and so that's that one that's, they're both landscaped, so the one has two columns, that's the one on the, how to get there, and so this is just exactly what it says it is, it's a draft, and so that's what I had in mind, and put in a few pictures and do maybe on a cardstock, don't tell that other committee, and, so the person could pick it up from the museum or from town hall and go to the mine site, so, again, I'd like to, these two sign, this and the sign deal, I'd like to get done this quarter. So,
Shouldn't that be on the website too?
sounds good to me. I'm not in charge of the website.
No, the town, but we could,
You can,
the town's really good at those follow-ups.
yeah, so this is what you would like on the website? I just want to make sure I'm
But,
clear.
or just,
Yes.
I mean, we've got the historic page on the website, so just a link that says here's directions. Whether it brings up a graphic or step-by-step or whatever, right?
Perfect.
Because you're not gonna find it on MapQuest.
And these photos, the insert of photos, do I have those?
Probably.
Okay.
No, they're on the town server.
So they're already on the website, those
Yeah.
photos?
No, not on the website, on the
Oh, okay.
on
Okay.
the hard drive, whatever you want to call it.
You'd have to figure out which ones you want.
Yeah, so, so, you know, we can, like Lindsay just said, figure out what we want on there, and get a picture of the coal mine would be good, I think, since that's where they're going. And, so, yeah, so just, because of time and everything, why don't you just take a look at it, see if it looks like what you're thinking of, because that's what I was thinking of, okay, and we could go from there.
Yeah, thanks for getting it
Okay.
written
It's
out.
not
That's a good
edited or
start.
anything, too, so.
Okay.
And then, the second one was a proposed sign for the combine. And I'd say these would be like the same or smaller than the current ones on the mine car. So like, I think those are 10 by 13 or 9 by 13 or something like that. So I visualized the text, telling what a combine is, and they one or two photographs showing, you know, a team of horses pulling the combine or a steam tractor pulling the combine. And of course, the pedestal, to put it on, whether it be a low pedestal or high pedestal.
Talking about the combine we had removed.
No, the one that's there.
The older one.
The real one.
Yeah, we now got the explanation of a self-contained combine, it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Further,
I guess I'm not sure which piece of equipment you're.
well, the combine down at Castle Park.
Yeah. There's a threshing machine down there, and there's a hay rake and the, grain deal, and that old wagon, and I guess I'm
Okay.
lost on the combine.
Okay, I guess that was my mistake, yeah. Okay, that's gonna be a major revision there, so I'll change that to a threshing machine apparently.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah, got it, okay. Good catch, Wally.
So Wally, when we officially end the meeting, stay on the line for a minute. I have a question for you to go off the record.
Okay. For or no?
Anyone else can stay too, but I have a question for Wally.
Correct answer is for or no. Yes, I will do
Okay.
this.
Thank you.
So, yeah, so I was figuring on doing one on the hay rake and the seed drill, so, but I guess better go back and change the combine. No, that's right, it's a threshing machine, okay. Then the other deal is that, and Melissa Miller has made up new replacement signs for the two mine cars and and Autry Park. So, you know, Autry Park sign's been missing for probably a couple of years. This sign for this mine car needs to be replaced, and then the mine car is missing. The sign is missing for Glen Nasty Park. So those are all on order.
It'd be nice if those stopped like melting or whatever is going on.
Yeah, you know, and when that one came off, you can see the pattern of the blue pattern, and it's
Yeah.
no wonder it's separated because it's rather than any kind of it. So at any rate, yes, it'd be nice if they'd stop separating and pulling away. And the other thing I put out there was this was it says good speaker. So this was a suggestion from Jackie Ainley Conley, who presented on the Broomfield Depot a couple of years ago. And so she gave a good recommendation to this person. We've been kind of holding on the shootout at the Superior Depot as one to do when we can't seem to find anybody else, or we could do the shootout at the Superior Depot. So it's just what do you all think?
This one looks really good, and I think it would be topical to have Augusta Taylor, and of course Mary Miller being, right next door.
Mm-hmm.
Clara Brown. I think this,
Sounds really interesting.
yeah, it sounds interesting, and I don't think Jackie would have put that out to us if she hadn't been enthused herself.
Right. I think so. Great speaker, she said, so. I'd be
And
glad
Augusta
to.
Taylor gets overlooked sometimes because of her
There's a big
replacement,
deal.
so to
Yeah,
speak.
replacement. Yeah. So, excuse me, Lydia and Karen, this is where Brian would usually check on a date. We usually do these on the third Thursday night in April. So if you see if the boardroom is.
Boardroom's
open,
available.
yeah.
Yep, I can do that.
We're flexible, but that's just kind of the pattern we've established, and nothing sacred about it. But
And tell me, third Thursday.
Evening, 7 o'clock.
with cookies.
Goes from like 7 to 9. right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right up.
When is Easter? It doesn't kind of
So,
Oh yeah, Easter's really late this year.
It's really late in the month.
what is?
Easter.
Easter's late. It was
This
early
will,
last year.
the third Thursday will be just before Good Friday. It's probably school holiday. So we might want to move that.
To the 11th maybe?
I don't think they get Good Friday off.
No, they have a
It's
week.
not off for
in there.
Good Friday, it's a conference exchange day is what they call it. So it's all semantics, they're off school.
But,
Easter weekend.
when are they off for their week, Jill?
That's at the end of March.
The spring break is the
Okay.
last week of March,
Okay.
like the 23rd
Right.
through the 30th.
Totally do.
And call it Easter break, or you can call it a teacher conference exchange day, but that's Good Friday and and Easter Monday.
Then it seems like Thursday, the 11th, or the 25th might be better. If people might be.
The 11th or the
25th?
Okay,
Oh,
I
wait,
can
what
check
just
those.
happened?
7 p.m.
So if everybody's off of school on the 19th,
For a long weekend, actually.
so if people are maybe leaving town, then it might be better to have it on the 2nd or 4th Thursday.
Yeah. Well, that means, does that mean our regular meeting would be on that,
Yeah, it's on Good Friday.
on Good Friday? Yeah. Well, it's happened before, I think.
Yeah.
So we'd need two things. We'd need to see if the room's free, and then we'd need to see, we might need to adjust around Alexis' schedule.
That's correct, yeah. I will, I'll send an email within the next couple of days and see if it goes well. Do that booking.
Okay.
This probably, I think, also involves honorarium, but I think we can
Yeah,
do that too.
yes,
So
indeed. It's worth,
we've been doing that lately
it
anyway.
is worth
so.
it.
Well, I think we made it to the new business. Any other new business?
No?
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
All right.